We are the things that were and shall be again. Snatch of the book. We want what is yours.
Life. Dead by dawn.
Dead by dawn.
Dead by dawn. Dead by dawn.
Dead by dawn.
Dead by dawn. Dead by dawn. Dead by dawn.
Welcome and hello, Spuds. You are enjoying a fantastic Halloween episode of By the Bulb. I am Brian Studley, and to my right is the terrible Tony Gomez.
How
How are you,
That was
Tony?
my terrible laugh. That was my
It
terrible
was terrible.
terrible.
Oh, it was terrible. It was awful.
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. Feeling good, you know.
Living
Give it
life,
110%.
man.
Just living life all the time, man.
110.
At least
Good
110.
All right, next to him and across from me is Jack-o'-lantern Jeremy. Backlog.
That's me, dude. I mean, that was a little, yeah.
The
That was
spooky.
all me. We don't have a soundboard. I'm doing good. I still haven't, speaking of jack-o'-lanterns, still haven't made it to a pumpkin patch this
It's been a while
this
since
October.
I
I try and go to at least one
You know,
every
I
October.
went and got pumpkins, carved those fuckers. 3 days, they're dead.
Yeah, you can't. Especially here, there's nothing to keep it good.
But it was like a bargain bin thing at a market. We're just like,
Yeah.
oh, we carved some fucking pumpkins, and we did it, and it was just... I also tried a new technique where you cut it from the bottom instead of the top, because I remember reading something, it's like, it'll retain its shape for longer if you cut it from the bottom instead of the top. 3 days, that fucker was... They were
3
just...
days.
They
That was just bullshit.
Yeah, globs of gross. They were not...
I would
they did
think
not
that
last.
the best way to maintain structural support is
Engineer Jeremy.
you have the design on one side, and then maybe you have the candle hole on the other side instead of the top or the bottom. But that also might... It's a pumpkin, man. It's gonna rot. And,
Yeah.
unless you put some
There's only
struts
so
in
many
there.
freaking things you can do.
Right. Well, I mean, like, the lady likes to carve a pumpkin, but from
Yeah,
me to
no.
you, it's just a fucking hassle.
Yeah, I mean,
I really
I get
enjoy
into it,
carving
man.
pumpkins.
I
I
go
dig it.
online. I find if I can't find a stencil, I find a picture that I can make into a stencil. Like, there was one year, I did a Lionel Richie pumpkin, and it just
That was good. That was a
that
good
was
one.
good. It looked like Lionel Richie.
Jeremy always goes the stencil route. I'm just like, you know what?
Yeah,
I'm gonna
Tony-
do that fucking thing,
Tony
and then I
freewheels
just
it.
and then I just draw it on it, and then I just carve the fuck.
Well,
out
you
of
guys
it.
are the real artists here. just that.
Real artist.
Like, go ahead, babe. It looks great.
See the form inside of the pumpkin.
touch it and have an energy response.
Well, since this is the spooky Halloween
So
episode,
spooky.
start off with a little bit of sort of spooky news. As a child, I thought that the real Ghostbusters was kind of scary.
Yeah,
There's some
I mean,
stuff that happens in there that...
There's some weird stuff, especially when they actually show what's inside the like ghost containment unit.
Yeah.
And like all that, like they've been putting a bunch of ghosts in there.
Yeah. Yeah, just I loved the animated series. I am not sad to admit that I still do watch it. Like,
Yeah.
if I'm just around the house, I'll pop that on, and it's good. Apparently, with this reboot, with the new Ghostbusters movie, with the ladies, they're going to be doing. Sony is at least developing a new animated series based on the Ghostbusters. We had talked about it earlier, I guess, that you're trying to bring it a different direction completely.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's going to be told from the ghost's point of view.
Which that's interesting.
Whatever.
I mean, I think that's a really good way to get around the fact that they don't have they're not going to try and do the original Ghostbusters because if you put new if you put new Ghostbusters in there, that's like, yeah, I'm Egon's son, and like these are my buds. Like
Yeah.
nobody's gonna fucking give a shit.
Like Flintstone kids
Yeah,
or something.
like, yeah.
What I wonder about it is it going to be like different ghosts every episode? And it's like, oh, here's this like sewer rat guy, and
Yeah.
then he's getting caught by the Ghostbusters.
Well, I'm
And the
assuming
next episode
Slimer
it's different. It's like,
Has a big role to play.
or is it like a cast of ghosts?
I don't know. I mean, is
The same
Slimer in
ghost
the new
people.
one?
No, I mean, I thought Slimer was in the original animated series.
Yeah.
Oh, he
Yeah,
was for
so,
sure.
Like, I
yeah.
feel like if they're doing something from the ghost point of view, they gotta at least have Slimer.
Throw Slimer a
Yeah.
bone. Yeah, I think that what Tony was talking about as far as it like from
Yeah.
episode to episode
Is
being
it like
a different
ghost,
That'd
or
be
is
great.
it the same
Yeah.
cast of characters but ghosts?
Yeah.
That'd be depressing because at the end of every episode, you get attached to this character and then it gets captured. On to the next one. Let's connect with something emotional and you get it taken away.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
they're just really shitty ghosts, though.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like
Like, this ghost is a fucker. He
Maybe
doesn't-
it's like Law and Order: Criminal Intent. You know?
Oh, all right. Which one of the Ghostbusters is like Batman? Like, was it
Yeah.
Gorham? Like, he just is like sniffing stuff, and he's like tell you right away what it is.
No, Egon would be Vincent D'Onofrio, the weird like detective that knows.
Yeah.
You know, there's a sand beach on.
It looks really, I don't get really excited about kids' cartoons. Obviously, these days there's a ton that I can relate to, like the Uncle Grandpa and stuff. I don't know, man.
I kind of there's a part of me that really enjoys Uncle Grandpa.
Really?
Yeah.
See, Uncle Grandpa I couldn't get into either, but I think there are still a few out there, still a few solid cartoons.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but it's not. I don't know. I guess
It's different.
it is different. Like I have to get into this almost like ADD sort
Yeah.
of state of mind because there's a lot of shit happening that I don't understand, and I
Yeah.
need to like I don't know.
I saw something the other day that was kind of like the first episode of a modern cartoon, and it's just like a guy in a leprechaun costume with rabbit ears, and he's dancing around
Yeah.
with like a bowl of cereal or something. And then, like, episode 28 is just the planet exploding. His cartoons just get fucking crazy these days. Like, you see it with Adventure Time and then, like, Gravity Falls.
Yeah.
These cartoons start out really like, oh, it's this nice little neat cartoon. And then they kind of just take it.
Yeah, no. Adventure
Interesting
Time was
places.
like. I mean, Adventure Time still is very episodic and like will not really reference things that but they've gotten like.
I think they were
there's-
pretty good about
There's
referencing.
been more of a as the show's gone on. There's been more of a like definite story arc.
Yeah,
that
there's
they've
an
been
interweaving
putting
thing
there.
definitely going on now. It's not as good now as the
Yeah.
problem. You know, it's they overworked that poor bastard Pendleton Ward.
They did.
And like he had to step down as showrunner. He created the fucking show, and then
Yeah.
he had to step down because there was just too much pressure. So he's on the show, but in like a lower capacity because he just couldn't fucking take it. And I think that I haven't had as much interest in it. There was a while where I was pretty good on that show. I liked Adventure Time a lot,
But
Yeah, that's what happens. Sometimes it runs its course, and
Yeah.
people need
especially
to
when
get
there are
out
these
or whatever.
giant phenomenons now. They just gotta fucking milk the shit out of it.
Oh, well, God. Yeah, if you're going to bring up milking a franchise, Indiana Jones, apparently, I didn't even realize this. They're
Yeah.
talking about making a fifth one.
yes.
And there was rumor, apparently, that people think that, Harrison Ford should be dethroned, so to speak, bringing a new guy. And the favorite was Chris Pratt. Everybody's like,
Yeah.
Chris Pratt would be amazing. I mean, what do you think of that idea of Chris Pratt being Indiana Jones to begin with?
I think he'd be. I mean, I think it wouldn't be terrible. There's certainly worse choices for an Indiana Jones, but at the same time, it's like watch Chris Pratt be cute and charming and a little dumb. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just like, do we need Indiana Jones to be like a Doctor Who now? You know, like,
yeah, right.
Is it just like, oh, here's the new Indiana Jones, but
Totally.
he's a little more silly, and just let Indy die.
Yeah.
Let him die. Just kill off Harrison Ford, and maybe there's a kid at the end. He's Asian.
Yeah.
And he's just like, I'll take over.
If you're gonna make an Indiana Jones movie, why don't you make the whole thing that happened between Marion Ravenwood and Indy, like before Raiders of the Lost Ark, the reason why they fucking hate each other.
Yeah.
That would be cool to explore. Maybe make it like prequels usually suck, but like
So
at least
young
there's
Indiana.
something there.
I see what you're
to
saying.
dig.
Yeah.
But we can't retcon the wonderful, amazing Young Indiana Jones TV show.
You cannot forget that. It's part of the canon if you go on
Yeah, it's pretty terrible. Where it is. But so they've. I mean, I guess that brings up a different thing. It's just like they are thinking about approaching it like a James Bond sort of thing, where it just sort of goes on and on. But Well, apparently that was an idea that was squashed by producer Frank Marshall, saying that no, Harrison Ford will be back as Indiana Jones, wants to be back at the ripe old age of 73. He wants to get that whip out again because Disney, they got that, and they're doing the Star Wars thing hard, and this is just sort of waiting in the wings. So we'll see what happens, but
I mean,
the last one was so bad.
It was.
Yeah, it was.
And I just think that, like, the last one, Harrison Ford was still young enough to where he could still kind of pull it off. Like, he was old, but he still had it. But, like, now he's
just like...
He's crashing planes.
He's just so old and frustrated. So tired of his goddamn
I didn't kill my wife.
Where's my family?
That's awesome. Yeah, so it's run its course. And fuck that. I don't know.
I love Harrison Ford, but don't do that, please.
Yeah, well, I mean, speaking of running its course, the Back to the Future Day officially passed us.
It did.
Yes. We still don't have the fucking shoes.
Well, yeah, they kept saying... I've been hearing about those shoes for, like...
I saw a video of Michael J. Fox putting
He's
on those
putting them on,
shoes.
but they're not coming out until 2016.
Well, you missed the deadline.
You missed
there,
it, guys.
And they said it was like 2011, they released these like replicas of the shoes, and they looked perfect, but they didn't have the fucking self-timed
They've had
laces.
since 1989 to figure this shit out.
Yeah, exactly. So they released all those shoes. A bunch of people bought them. It made like millions of dollars to get put these replicas out there.
Yeah.
And now Michael J. Fox does have the ones that have the auto laces.
Right.
But they're not going to be ready until 2016. So like, guys, look, we're in time for Back to the Future Day. We got one pair, and Michael J. Fox.
But if you're gonna give them,
But you guys aren't going to get them until like 2016.
Now, this is Nike doing this?
it is.
Yep, Nike
Okay.
Mags.
Well, yeah, because in that video when he's putting them on, like they make that noise and stuff, and he's just like, "Whoa!" He's like, freaking out. And it looked really cool. But yeah, the shoes, the hoverboards. I've seen people talk about those little rolly boards. Poor man's Vespa, not
see,
Vespa.
yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Those Segway.
Yeah.
There it is.
Segway without handlebars.
Yeah,
basically.
right. But they've referred to them as hoverboards. I'm like, come on, guys. No.
Well, they got a bunch of little prototypes out there. There's none of them that are perfect.
There was that one. Was it a Kickstarter for that? It was a hoverboard, but it only worked on a specific type of floor because it worked with magnets. It wasn't like a total free.
And then if you look at that video that they had for that, like the promotional video looks awesome. You just see this thing coasting all over the place. They got a pro skateboarder, and then it's like there's like the little documentary thing after it. And he's like, "Yeah, I had to train on this thing for like 8 months to be able to do that. Like it was really fucking hard. It's on a track. It's not just like they had made this entire place magnetized, so that you can. Yeah, it's on a track.
That's fucked up.
So it can only do certain things. But there's also that other one that's like got blue lights coming out the bottom of it. I don't know who's doing it.
Yeah.
But that one also looks like it's pretty close. Tony Hawk was riding it around, but then
That's
I think that was a hoax or something. I don't know. It's just
just
all this shit about the fucking hoverboard. We're not gonna get it.
You can't trust anything on the internet. Yeah, I don't know. Like, is this real?
Yeah.
if you're gonna make anything, make the Mr. Fusion generator. So my car can run on garbage.
Which is what Toyota had that commercial with Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd, and they're like, "Well, kinda, we're doing it.
Yeah,
so that's cool.
It counts.
Yeah.
It's biodiesel.
Yeah. Well, Back to the Future, the Cubs lost, so fuck you on that end. This movie's terrible. I'm never watching it again. Yeah.
Glad I didn't go back to the beginning of the season. Put some money on the Cubs.
Yeah. I would have been in the hole so good. Yeah, Back to the Future. Looking to the future, though, we've got some news about movies that have yet to come out.
Yeah, to be.
I enjoyed The Kingsman. The Secret
I
Service,
did not
whatever.
see that.
Yeah,
It's a good one. Did you check it out, Tony?
I have not seen it.
Jeremy hasn't seen it. Brian's the only one that's seen it.
Brian's
I'm here
the
to tell you guys, it's good. I believe it's Matthew Vaughn directed First Class. Kick-Ass also, perhaps?
Kick-Ass.
It's good. It's good. It's funny.
I did hear that it was really
Action
good.
heavy. It's a Red Boxer, and that's where I would rate it a Red Box.
Red box. I will check it out.
But that got it's being made, which I didn't even know.
That's awesome.
So there's that, and not so cool news. I mean, the more I don't know what you guys think, but the more I see this Jared Leto Joker, I'm just I had Jared Leto.
Well, this part you know more about than me. I haven't been keeping up to date on it. So what's
Okay.
the new news?
Well,
Brad?
it's not so much like actual news. Like you keep hearing these things, like they're it's like PR spilling it out. Like, oh man, like Jared Leto would not get out of character on set for this, and you know, and that's all right and good. But then they just keep releasing more of these pictures. And there's this one where he's walking. I know the Joker's got a cane and some stuff, but he's got a cane. He's got this like purple, I don't know, like alligator skin shiny coat.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at that right now.
And there's just no good things in my mind about it.
There's no purple electricity Joker.
But like, you know, and I don't know. I don't necessarily want to be that guy that just like sits there and trolls and looks at. Well, I don't troll, but I just look at comments, you know, and everybody's just as quick to just try to defend it. You know,
Well,
nobody wants to just be like. I mean, of course, there's a few people that are like, "This is fucking terrible. What is happening?" But there's a few people that are just like, "Oh, well, you know, if you mix this one with this different Joker, and they're really paying homage to this and that and the other."
Here, I mean, I personally, I do believe that Jared Leto is a good actor.
Yeah,
I think
I
everything
agree.
I've seen him in, he's great. And I don't fault him for this because obviously he didn't make the decisions to be this Joker. You know, that was the art department and the screenwriter did that. But it's a fucking mess, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's something to bitch about. We can bitch and bitch until we actually see it.
Yeah,
you
I mean,
know?
I'm still looking forward to. I mean, Enchantress looks pretty sweet.
Yeah.
That's a really sweet costume. I don't know. It's I'm still looking forward to seeing this movie because
Just trying to remain open to it. Just
I mean-
trying to avoid as much as I can until it comes out, and then reserve judgment for then.
and Will Smith is good at that really sad hero guy. You know,
Just for some kind of Suicide Squad.
It's just some kind of suicide. Amy, my favorite.
Yeah, well, lukewarm, but we'll see. You know, history has shown people bitch about Michael Keaton. Some people bitch about Heath Ledger. I was not one of those people.
No, I enjoy Heath Ledger.
yeah.
People can shove it.
Or prior to it coming out, I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I still before it came out, I was still, and you know, it's hard not to because there was all that hype about his death, and I did
Yeah.
buy into that, like, this is his last performance, it was too great, it killed him, you know, like,
Yeah.
but I still,
Just so method.
you're so mad.
Well, yeah. Well, speaking of just poop on the internet, I would be remiss
It will be a
If-
terrible mistake.
if I didn't at least bring up and show you guys. We watched it earlier. This commercial for a product called the Squatty Potty.
The Squatty
The
Potty.
Squatty Potty.
Oh my god. We can't, any description we have will not do it.
That's true.
Just go watch it.
Please.
We will talk about it now. But it's just
Unicorn poop.
unicorn poop. It's basically the product is a stool that slides conveniently into your toilet when you're not using it. But when you are using it, you put your feet up on it while pooping. And there's a medical reason behind it. Is that's actually the way your body is supposed to poop. Like people have been squatting and shitting for much longer
Right.
than they've been sitting on a toilet and shitting. So that there is some science behind that.
Yeah,
And,
there is.
But I honestly want one.
Yeah.
Well, and I sent that to a buddy of mine. He's like, "Why don't I just get a couple of cereal boxes? Then we're gonna spend $25
Just
on
grab a
this."
stool
Yeah.
and put your feet
Right.
on that.
But
it'll
that
be
one
good.
doesn't just slide into the toilet like this
Oh,
one.
no,
No,
there's a
this one-
stool in your bathroom. Maybe maybe a child's there. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. Like what opens your sphincter and,
But I mean,
and
I
readies
will
you for
say-
battle.
I've been backpacking.
Glides like a virgin swan.
Glides like a I've been backpacking, and I've pooped in the woods many times, and it is a lot easier in that position to take a shit.
To just get it all out.
Just get
Because what they're talking about is like the little doggy bag of poop that you didn't quite get out.
yeah,
Yeah.
which happens all the time. I tell you, every morning I wake up and I have to shit, and then right before I leave the house I have to shit.
Yeah. It's always a lesser sequel.
So
Yeah.
a little bit of turd left there.
Yeah.
But yeah, check out the Squatty Potty video on YouTube, everybody. It's like just under 3 minutes long, and it's just ridiculous.
So great.
It's a unicorn pooping ice cream is how it starts out,
so
and it's one of the strangest, funniest things. I've watched it way too many times already.
And they're making these, like, giving the ice cream to the kids, and he's like, is that the best thing you've ever eaten?
Yeah, they get ice cream on the face and he uses toilet paper to wipe it.
Get clean.
Yeah, pretty fantastic stuff. Just for, I don't know, just
Real bully.
just internet news in general, I guess. Actually, we were going to talk. Maybe speaking of that, Jeremy had mentioned something about a video game that he was coming out with. We try to keep up with some video game stuff here. I've been sort of pressed for time, but you got a game that's a reboot. This Masters of Orion.
Yeah, Masters of Orion. So basically, this is some of you may be very big fans of this game, but it's basically Masters of Orion. The original one came out in 1993, and it's a turn-based strategy game. And basically, it's a 4X game where you exploit resources, explore, expand, and exterminate.
Yeah.
Those are the four main things of the game. And I've been... Good Old Games is a website that is great. If there's any games that you're like, man, I remember that old computer game, but I can't find a copy of it, search on Good Old Games because they might have it, and it makes it, you don't have to run any emulators or virtual DOS things. It just like does it all for you. It's really easy.
Is it free or is it?
It is not. Well, okay, so some of the games are free, but Masters of Orion 1 and 2 are part of a $5 bundle, and it is very worth your money.
Yeah.
If you're into that type of game. Some people fucking hate that shit. But
Right.
but if you're into that type of game, the $5 is worth. But it's just really the game. I've played the first and second one a lot, and they're just really simple. The second one is a little more complex. There's a lot more specialization you can do with like how you want your planets to develop. But it's just a really simple game. The first one's only like 5 or 6 screens, and there's just so much content.
Is it okay? So like when you're saying you said it's a real-time RTS.
Yeah.
It's
a turn-based strategy. Basically, a real-time strategy game
Yeah.
is while you're building everything, your guy's doing that too, and everything's happening at the same time. Turn-based is you have your so many moves, you figure out what you're going to do in your turn, you end it, wait for everybody to do their turn, and then it's your turn again.
All right, but is this like field of battle, like sort of I don't know, like a Command and Conquer sort of thing? I guess?
It's yeah. I mean, it's basically you have your planets. You start out with a home world. You colonize. You research technologies.
Cool.
And you can design your own spaceships.
Nice.
And it's really sweet. And I mean, the combat is a little it's not up to today's standards. I would say.
Would you say 93?
Yeah, 93 and 96, but it's still a really cool representation of what's going on. But anyway, this company, I can't remember. I'm on this article right now, but there's they're developing a Masters of Orion reboot, which is going to be essentially the first game with updated graphics, updated mechanics. It's going to be all the same races. I'm not sure if they're adding other races, but there's a feature in both games where you can, once you come in contact with an alien race, you can open a dialogue with them, and it's just like supposed to be a hologram of their emperor, and you're like talking to them. But this game, they have customized backgrounds for all the races. Like they've designed, like the races have their own ships, their own like architecture, their own style.
Cool.
And it looks really sweet. I recommend everybody who really likes those types. If you're a fan of Civilization, that's probably the most famous type, game of this genre. But I love it. I'm really excited for this sequel, because who doesn't want to run your own empire?
Exactly.
In the second Masters of Orion, they added a feature where you can customize your races, and so I've just been having I've been taking races from Star Trek and like, how would this race? What would their stats be? And I made a race based off the Ferengi that was all about getting money and like really economically advanced, and it was so great. I could just buy anything I wanted. Like, it was so great.
That's awesome. Good. So that's something to look forward to. What were you gonna say?
I mean, just to wrap up video game news, I did start playing Undertale. I talked about this one a few podcasts ago.
Yeah.
And I've been so fucking busy, I haven't been able to get back into it. But what I do want to say about that game is the fan base is really fucking loud right now. So the internet has found Undertale, and like when I first started playing it, I didn't see shit about it. I read this review, I heard this thing. I talked about the review on the podcast. I showed you guys, people were raving about it, but the internet hadn't found it just yet. So
Ahead of the curve.
One big thing about when something kind of bangs on the internet is that there's going to be a shitload of fan art, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's all it is now. It's fan art, or like it's a comparative meme.
Yeah.
Or just a meme.
As soon as I see it on Tumblr, I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, they figured it out.
Yeah, they found it, and it's just now. My feed when I'm like looking at stuff, I just see Undertale. I'm just, come on, guys.
Don't you like anything?
You're ruining the game for me, and I haven't been able to even try it yet. You're killing it. It's just all this shit all over the place, and they're just doing weird. There's also like all kinds of weird sexual stuff with it. And the game is such an innocent game. It's about a child, walking through. I mean, exactly.
There's
Rule
always
34, right?
sexual
If it
stuff.
exists, there is porn of it. I understand that, but
you
just
s-
in
you
the ways,
scumbags. You fucking assholes.
in the ways they do this, Brian, it's upsetting. But I gotta get back on checking that game. I just I've not reserved. I judge the fans and the product separately.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of things that are really good, but the
You gotta-
fan
you
base
gotta
is just
do
like,
that, man.
oh, you
It's
shut
like I
the
mean,
fuck up, you bastards.
Metalocalypse, great show. Like,
Right.
people who are super fans of that show are just like, yeah, I listen to Death Clock all the time. And it's like, listen to them.
Actually,
Get in your corner.
we're talking about video games here. I actually, now that I'm thinking about it, do you have a little bit to add to this? Last time we talked, I had mentioned the pinball thing for Bob's
Yeah,
Burgers.
yeah.
I had missed a table. There is a Family Guy table on Zen Pinball. Bob's Burgers table is my favorite. It's good stuff. Worth checking out. The whole pack was like $5 for 4 of them. So
What are some
$5
of your
dues.
favorite features of the Bob's Burger?
Well, it's really just being a fan of the show. I mean, it's not like it's.
Do they do anything weird with the table? Like,
It's kind of some of the graphic stuff that they do can pull off. Like a lot of that fantastical shit is sort of like for the Marvel universe. For these, it's just like they're tables that are sort of hard to fuck up. If that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
you have to hit a particular ramp like 6 or 7 times to start a certain character's like mini game or
Yeah.
whatever, and shit will pop up out of the table. You got to knock down like. There's one where there's like a little mini game where Bob sends you to the wharf to go hand out flyers, and you have to keep like hitting this one particular ramp, stuff like that. But it's just like I said, it's all the same voiceover people. Linda is like if your ball goes out on the side and you have like a ball save or whatever, that's Linda. So she's like always trying to save the family, like little shit like that.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
as a huge fan of the show, it's just like a comforting.
yeah.
Played it for like an hour, did all right, but yeah, for being that cheap and if you're a fan, definitely worth checking out.
Yeah.
So guys, it's about that time. People are dressing up. I saw a little kid over there dressed up like Dale Earnhardt Jr. eating some candy corn. It must be time for trailer trash. Or if you're some sort of like classy trailer person, you might say modular home.
A modular home, yes. It's a
I was
bungalow.
modular.
Brian, it's a bungalow.
So we watched some
bungalow.
trailers. Got some good, and one of them sort of in a strange way isn't
Well,
a trailer, but
There's the biggest trailer that everybody.
you just want to get it out of the way.
Let's just get it out.
Fair enough, yeah. Star Wars: Force
Star Wars.
Awakens final trailer.
Fuck, man.
Yeah.
I keep wanting something to happen that'll make me disappointed in it. That'll make me think, no. But like it's just like this is just gonna be so great.
Yeah.
I hope.
Yeah.
But
One thing I thought was funny though is because as anyone keeping up with the Star Wars thing, since Lucas did the movies in all the years since the prequels, and then even after that,
Yeah.
there was all these novels. There was this insane amount of lore
Yeah.
that was added onto
And,
it,
yeah.
and now none of that shit's canon. They just threw it all out the
That
window.
is very annoying.
Yeah, and spoilers if you haven't seen the Star Wars trailer, Harrison Ford as Han Solo is in there, and someone asks him, they're like, "We've heard stories." He's like, "It's true.
Oh,
It's all
no.
true,
Yeah.
unless you read the novels from 19 something." In which case, it's not. Fuck you.
I mean, yeah.
They
no,
have
I
a
mean,
new little time
Really?
frame now. Yeah, that tells you what is canon and what isn't.
That's
Like the
nice.
cartoons are all canon still.
Print it out, put it in your
See,
wallet.
now
Yeah.
that-
Star Wars
reference.
Rebels is canon.
That's annoying, man. Because like, I mean, I know you and I, we poured over those books, man. Like,
Those books
Wasted.
yeah.
did some things for me.
yeah.
Well, I gotta say, as just sort of a cynic and an asshole, I was like, all right, here we go. And one of my first thoughts was, how many lens flares? How many? And there's that big one,
Yeah.
but I think that it's good for where it's
Yeah.
going.
Yeah.
You've got Ren just sort of looking out over this red planet or explosions. I don't know what's going on, and he's looking down at Darth Vader's like mutilated
His like crushed
carcass.
mass.
Yeah.
And then someone was saying, reading stuff about it, people were talking about like, oh yeah, so he is, he's a follower of Vader or something like that. But
Right.
we see a cut there, so you don't know that he is actually in a room with Vader's helmet, looking over the helmet and saying that.
Yeah.
It's true.
So before you guys jump to conclusions, the Knights of Ren may not necessarily be.
Yeah, they might not be. 'cause,
Yeah,
like, I
they
mean,
might just be collecting Vader paraphernalia.
because well, like
like Nazi
Yeah,
chants, like
exactly.
Nazi
it's
plates.
sort of like relics of Christ. I mean, like it could be this thing because like he totally when Darth Vader dies, he's like, yeah, no, I'm sorry, I was evil.
Yeah.
Everything I did was fucking stupid. But it would be interesting if they did that whole like there was this whole movement that thought that he was a martyr and died
Yeah.
for the Emperor.
Oh, yeah.
And, like,
Totally possible.
and just that part with the Knights of Ren when they're all like around each other.
Yeah. Well, and then you've got that part at the end when it looks like the gentleman from Attack the Block. What's his name in this movie?
oh, jeez, the is it the
Well, they're-
stormtrooper man's.
yeah. Well, it looks like he's a Jedi, right? Because he's got at the end he's got
He's
a
wielding
lightsaber.
the saber, but that
Well,
also
I think
could
it
be.
has been revealed that he is going to be a Jedi.
Right.
But I think also the Luke's or Han's daughter, isn't that who it's supposed to be? Or
I
They
don't know.
haven't said yet.
They haven't
The more
said
I
yet.
see of her, just the more attractive she becomes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's okay. So I haven't like said this out loud yet. Definitely a thought I've had since the first time of seeing her.
Yeah.
There's something about her that's like specifically Star Wars hot. It's like
She looks like she does.
She's a chick
Yeah.
that you're gonna idolize from a Star Wars movie.
Uh-huh.
If you're looking at a chick and admiring her, there's something. I don't know, she has some sort of quality about her.
She does remind me. She has a certain Natalie Portman.
Yeah, maybe
I,
it's
think
maybe
I honestly
here
think
or
she
Barry
looks better
Fisher.
than Natalie Portman
Well,
at any Natalie Portman point in time.
I don't
Yeah.
disagree, but
I think, but she's got that something though.
Yeah,
right?
she
Like,
does.
no, she does. And but I don't know. I mean, I really
I can't say why yet, but I know it's there.
so excited. So excited.
So yeah, it looks great. The embrace, between Han and Leia,
Yeah.
is, I mean, just
Chills.
little stuff like that. Yeah, but you're getting some character stuff. It looks like what's his name, Jacob Isaacs or Isaac Jacobs.
Something Isaac, Oscar Isaac.
Oscar, is that?
I think it's Oscar.
We're terrible.
We're terrible.
We're
Yeah,
terrible.
it's Oscar Isaac.
Oscar Isaac. Yeah,
Yeah.
it looks like he's just getting, just getting fucked with in his brain. So yeah, I as if you needed more reason to be excited.
Yeah.
And then there's like supercuts that put all the trailers together, so you see all the footage.
Yeah.
It's like 5 minutes long. It's good.
One other part that I do definitely want to call attention to is just the new. What's the new guy's name? Shit.
Kylo Ren?
No, not Kylo Ren.
Little
The
ball?
main dude, John Boyega as
Oh,
Finn.
yeah.
When he's got his blue saber.
Yeah.
Which is supposed to be Anakin's saber, by the way. I guess they've confirmed. Like, if you look in the shot, you can see that it's Anakin's saber, and I got a theory about that, but I will go over it in a second.
because it was lost.
Yeah. Let's get there. Okay, so there's the scene where he puts on the saber. Obviously, no sort of stance or anything. He doesn't know what the fuck he's doing.
Yeah.
He's just
Right.
kind of like, ah! And
He
he
does
like
look like
runs
he's
at
shitting
Kylo's
a bit.
Ren. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
shitting his pants. He has no idea what's going on. So I just can't wait to see how all that stuff pans
Yeah.
out and where that's going. But to the saber. We go to the saber. So that saber was lost.
Lost at Bespin.
Lost
Cloud
at
City.
Bespin, yeah. And it was probably in the Empire's care for a while, I would assume, right? So, or someone on Bespin or someone in the...
Well, I
he's
always
got all that
assumed
time
that it
as the
fell into the
stormtrooper.
clouds because like it just fell down that chasm and
Well,
came out
if
where
that
Luke
if
came
that
out.
happened, you know the Empire was sending out troopers or someone to look for that fucking saber. They wouldn't just let that shit fly.
That's true. That's
So it was. So I'm thinking that it has something to do with him in that stormtrooper outfit,
Yeah.
and somehow he, maybe they have it on lock somewhere, and then he gets that fucking saber, and that's how he has it. Like I don't think he's gonna have a master right away. He's gonna be fucking running around with Anakin's lightsaber,
yeah.
Yeah.
and obviously doesn't know what the fuck he's doing with it. So
Right.
I don't know, just my
Because
little
side
theory on
note,
it.
lightsabers are designed for the user.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah. And
Um,
if we're talking about that, then we should also touch on Kylo Ren's lightsaber,
So,
which was built backwards.
was it?
Yeah, that's why.
That's
he
why.
shoots the three
That's why
prongs.
the emitter for
Exactly.
sure. So that's
Yeah.
why it has a hilt.
Mhm.
So the beam.
Oh,
Which-
that's
yeah,
interesting.
which
Okay.
would also show that either he did that on purpose because it's something that he does specifically, or Kylo Ren himself did not have a master, so he just
Yeah.
had to
Yeah, he
cobble
just
together
figured it
stuff
out.
and figure it out. That's why he built it backwards, and why as an
Okay.
After Effect it has the 3 fucking prongs on it. So,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, yeah, super excited for that. Christmas can't come soon enough. So it's tough to follow up the Star Wars
Star
trailer,
Wars.
but Jessica Jones, she tried. She
Yeah.
tried.
tried.
New Netflix show coming out, same universe as Daredevil. Looks kind. I don't know a ton about Jessica Jones. She's got superpowers. Apparently, she got them when she was young. Doesn't want them. Becomes an alcoholic. Has sex with Luke Cage.
Now is she Tony? Is she a Kryptonian or?
Jessica Jones. I mean, we've talked about it.
Or it's a
before,
different universe.
Marvel,
right?
But
It's
yeah,
Marvel,
and yeah, she's not.
Fuck
oh,
me, right?
but she's not that. So the thing with it is that I don't know that much. I know that she's with Luke Cage, but I know a lot more about Luke Cage than I do about her. This show does look good though, and I've never really liked that actress. She was in Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was in
the
bitch in
the bee in Room 23 or
Yeah.
something. And she's never really done it for me. But this kind of looks like something that she could sort of slip into and be all right at.
Yeah.
I don't know, based on what we saw in the trailer, it looks like it's a good part for her, and maybe she'll pull it off. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, she has that sort of bitchy tone about her. I think
Yeah.
that's maybe why I don't like her, But I think that's what this character, based on what I know, is supposed to sort of be like. And I don't think it'll bother me quite as much. Now, there's things with Daredevil, we've talked about it before, that I don't think that show's perfect. I think it's really good.
Yeah.
And this looks to be that might sort of follow the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, I feel okay. So they, first of all, throughout the trailer, there was so many things letting you know that this was a Netflix show. There was it said Netflix 5 times, and there was a Netflix watermark and a thing. But then also there was another title that said "From the Home of Daredevil."
Yeah.
So they've got to be doing some crossover episodes with that. I'm sure. I'm sure it probably is the same universe, or the same city even.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Especially if Punisher sticks around, he'll be a part of that too. But it looked really dark, which was what really got my attention. The other ones have tried to be funny with her smashing the alarm clock. I'm like, okay, what the hell is going on? But yeah, obviously, we'll watch it. It'll be on Netflix. It'll be there.
Give it a try.
Yeah, just give it a little try. I just wonder how much they're going to try and tie her into other stuff that's going on in Marvel right now.
Right.
Because her entire origin, basically, she goes to school with Peter Parker.
Yeah.
So this isn't taking place in the same timeline as the current cinematic universe, because the new Peter Parker is a kid. He's in high school.
Yeah.
Right.
And Jessica Jones should be in that high school, but obviously the Jessica Jones in this show is an adult, with alcohol issues.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it doesn't completely throw the idea of them bringing Daredevil into the cinematic universe out the window, because it could just be fucking with stuff, and
it could just be in the future.
But
Right.
I mean, wrapping your head around these comic book timelines is ridiculous.
It's tough.
Yeah.
Well, we got that to look forward to.
Yeah,
Something that we are looking forward to, but none of us are probably gonna see, which is a damn shame. But our Ash vs. Evil Dead Through Us a
Oh
Bone
my god!
gave us the first 4
Gave
minutes.
us a little taste, a little nibble, just a tip.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How did it taste?
It's great.
Yeah,
It left me wanting.
yeah.
Yeah.
You had
I want
5 Pringles and you want 50 more.
Yeah, right.
Immediately.
I popped and the fun it stopped
Yeah,
abruptly.
yeah. This
And
is
I was dissatisfied.
Yeah. I wrote a letter of my dissension. But good on Stars for putting that up there. It just seems to be getting more ridiculous as far as Ash's character goes. He's just busting out singing the songs, flailing his arms. And,
Space trucking.
And pretty hard sex scene at the end there, which I didn't really see coming, but I like it.
That wasn't. I mean, obviously they have like a lot of sexual stuff in the other Evil Dead movies, but there's never been just like a.
But it just when it was
with his girdle.
in
the back of that bar.
But yeah, just when that scene's maybe getting a little uncomfortably long, like there's a little twist at the end. So I don't want to spoil it, but if you guys are listening and haven't seen it, man, check it out.
Check it out. And if you have Stars, invite us over because we need to watch.
Give us the little password or the Stars online or whatever thing.
Just a little email. We won't tell anyone.
We need it. It's content related.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, but that's the trailer trash. I think that we had some good stuff.
I mean, there's
stuff to look forward to.
Always love the Star Wars. The Star Wars.
Yep.
Jessica Jones.
I have this is kind of unrelated, but I have a friend named Brandon Euban that is unable to say Star Wars. He says Star Wars.
Star Wars?
I have not heard the.
He can say war, but if he says Star Wars, then it's fucked up. It just fucks up.
Just can't get his mouth to.
I don't know. I think just as a kid, he thought since Star and War spelled similarly, then they must rhyme.
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Old Blandon Rubens.
Yeah. Speech impediment. We're taking our break, everybody.
Make Halloween fun with one-stop shopping at Woolworth or Woolco for your Halloween needs. Costumes from $1.83 to $3.99, like $6 Million Man, Bionic Woman, superheroes, Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, and a new favorite for girls, Holly Hobby. You can get wrapped candies of every kind, bubblegum, lollipops, fun-sized candy bars. Get this Halloween record, sounds to make you shiver, just $1.89. Make Halloween fun and easy. Make just one stop at Woolworth or Woolco.
Your client has been through a number of these treatment programs in the past, and the results have been less than spectacular. Miss Bucknell is in need of stability. I'm therefore ordering an urgent report into the suitability of her mother's house for a sentence of 8 months home detention.
Gosh, that's high tech, isn't it? Aren't you lucky, Kylie, having all that fancy technology on your foot?
Nice being back home.
Some things have happened since I've been here. Things I can't explain.
I'm not the only one who thought there was a ghost in this house, Kylie.
What are you going to do against a hostile spirit?
I'm going to smash it in the face.
When you put an overactive mind in an inactive environment, there's bound to be complications.
I don't need a counselling session, I just need to get out of this house!
Oh no, they've been doing this all week. Hold on.
The restless spirit that lives in this house, what is your business here?
So, are you happy to proceed with the story that Mr. McRandall was attacked by a vengeful ghost?
Yes.
Righto.
All right, welcome back, everybody. For this very special Halloween episode, we are holding hands in a circle right now.
Over a dead goat.
Yes. About to read our first emails here. This so
is
special.
A big deal. Thank you.
Yeah.
To, was it Ivan?
We're going to find out.
We're going to find out.
What did our bulbas say?
Well, we sent something out asking people to suggest horror movies. We've seen quite a few, but not all of them.
Yeah.
So we need some new ideas. So we got one email, very first By the Bulb email ever. And by the way, we're going to call you guys bulbers.
Bulbers.
Our bulber fans.
Just bulbous bulbers.
Bulbous. Throwing your bulbies about.
So our first bulber is I don't even he's very thorough.
Oh yeah. Concise.
Considerate. He sent us titles of movies with the year and the Rotten Tomatoes review and the YouTube trailers. God bless you.
Yeah. That's
What the hell's your name, though?
Yeah. You didn't.
You didn't write anything, did you? Yeah.
That was-
He's insides, which is fitting, I guess.
But yeah, no. I mean, if you'd rather stay anonymous, that's awesome, dude. Thank you anyway.
Yeah.
But if you want us to give you a shout out, you gotta give us a little.
He just doesn't want the attention.
Yeah, just want the attention. Anyway, you picked some good movies.
Yeah, he threw us a
friend.
bone. Yeah, absolutely.
Let's just call him Double N.
Double N.
Double N. So the first one he recommended was Housebound, 2014 comedy horror from New Zealand.
New Zealand.
That's, I don't know, Two Towers.
Two Towers.
Right. Yeah, from New Zealand. Devil's Backbone, which I had seen. Had you guys seen Devil's Backbone? It's pretty good. Worth checking out. Girl Walks Home at Night has been on my queue for a while.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it. I
definitely
just
want to see that
haven't
one.
pulled the trigger on that one. But we will be watching those, and we will be talking about them later.
Yeah, definitely. And one more called Spring from 2015. He actually has a little note here that says, while Spring isn't your traditional horror flick, I highly recommend you check it out personally. I fucking loved the film. And there's some delicious Lovecraftian vibes going on.
And I'm fucking love Lovecraft.
Yeah, so we'll definitely check that out.
We did watch.
We watched. Yeah, we picked one. House. I got credit. Jeremy actually was like, "This is the one we're watching."
No, actually, that was Tony.
Tony was
I
the
made
one.
the call on that.
Antonio Villagomez.
Housebound.
Yeah. So that happened, and we'll talk about that in a second. Other than that, we got another email. We doubled up on us,
Yeah.
Ask and you shall receive, and these guys were like, "Hey,
you get none, and then you get two."
right,
That's the week.
right." We'll go through this one. It's from Ivan V. I'm just gonna say his I don't want to say his full name here.
But
Says, what up, guys? Ivan here. I watched too many horror movies, and I say that I am a proud horror nerd. You obviously need to watch John Carpenter's Halloween. Okay. Yes, he recommends Halloween, Trick or Treat. I haven't seen that.
Trick or Treat's great. You guys should watch that, and we
I think
should
I saw
talk
Trick or
about that.
Treat on a Halloween.
Yeah,
review,
with me. Yeah, it wasn't, but Trick, just great anthology movie.
Yeah. Yeah, he goes on to say and make a little interesting statistic here. Michael Dougherty. Dougherty? Yeah, okay. He was also the co-writer of X2 and the director of Krampus, which we trailer trashed before.
Trailer trashed that guy.
He directed Trick or Treat. Watch it at some point.
Yeah.
Didn't happen this time around, but worth checking out apparently.
Yeah.
So, follows 5-6 stories, and then he goes on to talk about The Descent, which I actually saw in the theater.
I'm not a super big fan of those types of horror movies. I believe they have their merits. But,
I'm with you on that one. So we didn't go with that. He just lists off a couple other ones. The Evil Dead, big fans.
Yeah.
Original Friday the 13th. Says it's his guilty pleasure. Don't be guilty about that.
No, that's great.
That laid the foundation.
Kevin Bacon getting stabbed in the neck on repeat.
Oh, absolutely. Black Christmas we've talked about before.
Yeah.
I think that's if you're asking me, that's better than Halloween, and that's better than Friday the 13th.
Yeah, and it doubles up as a Christmas movie.
Yes,
and it's great. It's so good. There's,
really
like you got Nightmare Before Christmas, that's a good. I watch it every year.
Right,
great kids movie. But this is for us. Black Christmas. This
yeah, and it's funny.
Yeah, it is.
So yeah, he recommends that. Audition from 1999. It's a Japanese flick. You guys see
that? Is a brutal film. You should watch
I didn't
that.
see that one.
Brutal as in I just need to see it once.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Gotta just also touch on some of these little lines that he likes to leave after each movie. It's like this one's interesting. A head giving head.
A head giving head. Yeah.
Which he recommends Reanimator. And yeah, it's in there. No doubt about that. But yeah, thank you to Ivan for sending this in. It's good to have emails.
Yeah.
You are Bulber number 2.
Yeah. We did watch one movie from each of your emails.
Yes.
Because we love you both.
So a very spooky version of What You Watching? Yeah, we're just doing like Alec Baldwin and Beetlejuice. And, So we watched some recommendations here. How are we going to start off with?
Let's start out with Housebound.
All right, okay. Housebound is, like I said, another one of those Kiwi movies that seem to be popping up that are nice and funny and gory. I had a ton of fun with this one, guys.
I've actually when I searched it to finally watch it, I was like, oh, I've seen that movie on Netflix before. I've just never gone and done it, and I'm fucking glad I did. Thank you so much, Insides or whoever you are.
Insides. I appreciate it from my insides.
Yeah.
Really, really funny. It's clever in the way that it sets you up to believe it's a certain kind of horror movie.
You think it's a haunted house flick.
Yeah. Well, I have written down it goes from ghosts to like you start thinking like she's just paranoid and she's seeing this all herself.
And then it goes to like crawl space.
People under the stairs.
Yeah.
You've got this guy that looks like just a tore up like Zach Galifianakis living in the walls, and then at the end it's like it's a
stir of echoes or
it's a psycho.
It's a psycho.
It's just every time it switches it up on you too, it like slaps you with it. Like you're like, okay, it's this now, but it's with that, you know. When you see the guy in the walls and just like the way he looks, like you were saying, it's like, oh, okay, right. This is and then when it goes psycho, you're just like, oh, it's that, okay, that guy. That's who we're going with. All right, let's.
This was one of those movies where every time I felt like I knew where it was going, it moved, it changed directions.
Totally.
And it's really rare that when I'm watching a movie in my room by myself that I like laugh really loud or go like, oh shit, or like, oh my god, like this movie I was held the whole time.
So did you guys keep the captions on when you watched it?
I did not.
Because I did.
Oh, really?
And I did, and I'm glad I did because I think it also added sort of a comedic element to it.
Yeah.
Like when you're in that scene with her in the bathroom and it's like urinating.
Yeah.
Urinating stops. Urinating resumes.
That was really
urinating getting stronger. But there's, as far as the caption goes, like, especially, it's not another language, obviously, but there's things that they say that they, like, mumble them a little bit.
Yeah, I mean...
Go with the bobby eye!
With a bum eye! But, I mean, if you watch enough Flight of the Conchords,
it's true.
You got it.
And I get most of it, and usually I don't have a problem interpreting any of that stuff, but there was definitely some times in this movie where I was like, oh, okay, thank you, caption, because I don't think I would have caught that on my own. It was a little quick. And they definitely threw some of their own, the New Zealand slang in there. Yeah, and it's, I don't know, like, that's makes it cool on its own. Like, and I really like it. And I don't want to, like, there's a part of me. It's like, if this were an American movie, I don't know if I'd like it as much. Yeah. And there's just weird things. Like, when does this take place? Like, they've got a computer running like Windows 2000.
I think that the joke behind that is that she. Her mom is so old school that she's so bored. There's nothing to do, and all she has is this shitty dial-up computer.
Yeah, and that doesn't even work. I think you can't assume it's pretty present because of the whole joke about the iPhone. She's got one of those new iPhones.
It's pretty flashy.
But I haven't heard
the hello mortal.
Yeah, I haven't heard that in I don't know how long. Yeah, dude. So what is she working with here?
I mean, that's one of those burners. It's like a drug dealer phone.
Yeah, that's gotta be what it is.
Yeah, because there's like the one where she tries to call. But it's like, you've reached the re-uploading menu of and that's why she asks to use the phone, because she has no more minutes on her burner. But yeah, I don't know. I just really thought it was really cool, and there was a lot of stuff that they did that like sort of referenced things that I wish I could remember, but like
other movies or
no, like they would set stuff up, like that's why they showed you that.
Oh, okay, yeah. But it wasn't so heavy-handed.
Yeah, it was just like an insert of something, and you're like, oh, that's just to add something to the movie, and you're like, oh, that's why.
Right.
And the sound design, every piece of like dust in the like in between the walls, and like you could just hear all of that.
Right.
And
yeah, and how about that basement? Like,
that basement.
What kind of a...
That basement was really...
How about that fucking house? How about those fucking crawl spaces
Yeah,
that big?
that's
What the
true.
fuck?
Yeah,
like that. That's
totally.
why when she jumped back, and then it's like, oh, maybe she's insane. I was like, okay, that would make sense because I was wondering what the fuck is this amount of space doing in this house? Because yeah, it's a big house, but holy crap,
Yeah.
it's like a hallway.
It got like that Evil Dead thing happening.
Yeah,
where
and it's just this like
continuous
back room area,
Yeah.
just, like where
Space.
everything's hidden, and he's got all this crap in there.
Yeah.
But I like that. That was really because when they bring out that Eugene character, it's like you're fucking terrified of this guy, and then like you feel really bad for this guy.
Totally.
Like, and especially like the part where he's showing her the pictures that he drew of her. Like you feel like that should be creepy, but it was kind of sad.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It was good.
I felt I don't know why, but kind of reminiscent of sort of like a Futurama type thing.
Yeah.
You know, it felt like an end of one of those episodes where it's like, oh, here's this thing, and now here's why it's really sad.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that one episode in particular where Leela's parents have been watching out for her.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, like I felt like that with Eugene and the main character.
Yeah, but yeah, and I guess that's why it's so good is because it's gory, it's funny, and it's endearing.
Yeah,
it is,
and has a fantastic ending, which I won't spoil.
Yeah.
But
and the cast is all the actors are so there's no one like even the mom who's supposed to be kind of annoying. She's just awesome. Like,
Yeah.
She's adorable.
Yeah, every character is
Not a very
great.
important phone.
Oh, yeah. Or Amos.
Yeah.
I'm not in the neighborhood. I live in the neighborhood.
When he just like he's like a switch. As soon as they mention ghosts, he's like.
He gets out.
Yeah, gets out his little mic. He's like, I'm gonna throw a filter on that later.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah, definitely worth checking out. It's on Netflix. If you're doing anything this Halloween and you're looking for a new one, Inside's recommended Housebound.
Do it.
Gets the by the bulb seal of approval. The next one that we cherry picked from the other email from Ivan, we watched Reanimator.
Yeah, which is
because why the fuck not?
It's a classic. It's a great. Oh my god, I love it.
Yeah, Jeffrey Combs is the just quintessential, just weird bad guy, sort of like he's driving the story. But there's just something about this movie. It takes a lot of chances, tons of nudity, tons of just shock value.
Yeah,
like, still kind of is rough to watch.
It is.
We actually just happens because I had it on just to remind myself because I'd seen it so many times.
That one scene in particular.
That one scene in particular, with the severed head going down on. Oh yeah. Yeah, God, this is terrible. And I've got the the DVD proper of it, and the behind the scenes on there. They have that actress talking about
that scene.
Oh, you could see it in her face. She's just like, all right, this is the weirdest thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
And it was the most uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So, and she didn't know what she was getting into. But that's what's cool about horror movies.
Sometimes they don't really take some liberties with the
car commercial. Now we're gonna have this guy doing.
Yeah.
But
yeah, no, I mean, back to the actor, Jeffrey Combs, who plays Herbert West, the man who invents the Reanimator serum.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen. He's in this one movie that came out pretty recently called Would You Rather. That's like a really, really good horror movie. I would recommend that. He's been on a bunch of episodes of Deep Space Nine and other Star Trek shows. And actually he played multiple characters, but there was this one recurring character named Wei Yun that he played that was just like every time he was on the show, I would be like, fuck yeah, dude. Jeffrey Combs.
Yeah, man. Well, yeah, and I think we talked about it before. He's the voice of the Question on Justice League Unlimited. And he's just got that sort of voice where you just know it's him.
Yeah.
And even the guy that plays the Dean in Reanimator is like this old creepy guy, or he's playing an old creepy guy. I think that he passed away a while ago, but I didn't really see too much on IMDb about his.
Robert Sampson.
Yeah, didn't even get a picture up there, but he brings it. The dad brings it, and the naked zombies bring it in all their glorious nudity. And Herbert West's just an all-time legendary character.
Yeah, and this is Reanimator is based off of H.P. Lovecraft's The Reanimator,
right?
Which is a short story, and there is this. This is one of the few instances where I would say watch the movie, don't read the story. the movie is way better.
Yeah.
And not, I mean, it's just the movie just takes his basic idea and like goes fucking crazy with it. And H.P. Lovecraft was also a little racist, so there's like one passage where he's talking about a corpse of a black guy, and he's like, he had huge arms like an ape, and
oh yeah,
yeah.
Didn't know that. Different time.
Yeah,
I guess.
different time. But yeah, I would say, yeah, just watch Reanimator if you haven't. We love it.
Also on Netflix.
Also on Netflix.
No
That's one of those ones that has always been on Netflix for me. Like, it's just always been there.
Yeah.
It's so great.
Well, outside of those two recommendations, once again, thank you, Boulders,
guys.
for recommending those. Ivan and Insides, you guys are the best.
Yeah, and the best part is we don't know who you guys like. We didn't get one of our friends to email like, you guys are fans.
Totally.
That's awesome.
Did not do that at all.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
But on our own, we've been watching some things here and there.
Mm-hmm.
I went back and watched David Cronenberg's Scanners. Lady had never seen it.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's one that I keep, it's been on the back burner for a while. I keep meaning to go watch that.
It's not on Netflix. Oddly enough, it's on Hulu Plus in their movie section. No commercials. It's another one of those things where it's just like a really cool story idea.
Mm-hmm.
It's pulled off nicely. There's some cool practical effects. Michael Ironside is awesome. But the main character is just terrible. He's just the worst. But had a really, really good time with that. Lady fell asleep.
Don't you hate that? Where you're like, no, but this is the part, and they're like, yeah, I'm looking at makeup or something.
You know what, though? That's just her way without just being... I mean, because she could be like, you know what? No, this sucks. Falling asleep. Like, fuck this. She just leaves me to my own devices, and that's how I know. Like, the next day, I look at her, she looks at me.
You know what you did.
Yeah. But, you know, maybe I shouldn't have pushed Scanners on her so hard, but god damn it. Why don't I watch Scanner? Early Cronenberg, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I did that, and that's where you get it. I'm not going to get into too much details. These guys do this mind fuck and blow each other's heads up. Like I said, really cool practical effects. You know, guys have like big bulging veins and stuff, and they're like peeling their own faces off and set themselves on fire. Just fucking batshit crazy.
That's awesome.
Cool stuff. Tony, what'd you watch on your own day?
Well, I got a couple. I'm just going to touch on them real quick. I took my new lady friend to see the Goosebumps movie.
Oh,
we saw the Goosebumps movie. It was good. Like, I had a good time with it. You know, you're going to go into a Goosebumps movie thinking it's going to be what it is, and then it's got Jack Black in it, and then, you know, it's just, you're going to see all these references. You're going to see all these references to things, you know, you get the nostalgia factor, and then you just hope that it doesn't suck.
Yeah.
And I think they did a pretty good job with it. It didn't try to be anything more than it was. It was just, you know, here's this crazy thing that all this stuff's happening. Jack Black's fucking R.L. Stein.
Yeah.
He's got all his books locked because for whatever reason, when he writes on his typewriter, things happen. And magic occurs. And it just, you know, I just had a good time with it. There was some young actors in it that weren't particularly great, but they did their job. Yeah,
they looked kind of rough.
They looked like they were plucked off a Disney Channel original series set.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, that's exactly what both the main kids were. But Jack Black was there. R.L. Stein does make a little cameo, and yeah, I enjoyed it. I don't know if I would have. If I was like really looking forward to going to see this movie, I knew it was happening. I was a fan of Goosebumps. I read the books, we watched the things, and all that stuff is on Netflix, by the way.
Yeah, no.
I didn't watch the things.
Yeah, okay, I read the things.
I think it's because Tony and I were. I mean, you're just like a year older than me, so you and I had the same. Goosebumps was on when we were like kids. So like, I still go back and watch Goosebumps sometimes because I love it. I feel like if Brian went back and watched Goosebumps, he would fucking hate it.
Well, I mean, before Goosebumps was like the Snick Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Yeah.
And I hated that too.
I loved
Are You Afraid of the Dark? I loved it. It's gotta be.
I was desensitized though.
You old man.
Before that shit even came on, like I was at my grandparents' like late at night watching episodes of Tales from the Crypt and stuff.
Yeah.
So the shit was just like a joke to me. I was like, this is terrible.
Yeah, why? It's got to be that nostalgia factor. I don't know.
No.
But I had a good time with it. I'd say I recommend it as far as the scale goes of where it is.
Yeah.
It's worth a watch, but I definitely put it closer to like Netflix.
So if you're really, if you're a huge fan of Goosebumps, would you say? It's
Now, if you're a huge fan, I'd say go out and just watch it because you're gonna have a good time.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of content for fucking Goosebumps going on these days, so go to the theater and watch it.
True.
But as far as like the grand scale of things and how it is as a movie, I'd say if you check it out on Netflix.
Yeah.
All right.
You know? So the other thing that I just want to touch on real quick, I hadn't seen this until recently. I really loved the version of it with Jeff Goldblum. But I hadn't seen the original with Vincent Price, which is The Fly.
Yeah.
And I fucking loved it so much. It was so good. And just like the dialogue throughout the movie was great. And the fact that it was always kind of silly. And then just that ending. But I want to touch on a couple things real quick before I go to the ending. Just some of the things that they say in this movie. Because he's in his basement.
Yeah.
That he keeps, padlocked down. His family's not allowed to go down there, and women folk shouldn't see certain things. And he's just like testing this thing out. He puts a china pot in there, and he sees that the text is now backwards. Oh, so something happens. I gotta tinker with my machine. And he puts a newspaper in there. Oh, the text is on right. Okay, the text is on there right. I figured that out. And the cat walks into frame. And you're like, Adelone, we're going to have a little experiment now. And he takes the cat and he just shoves him in there after he barely figured out newspapers.
Yeah.
and he shoves him in there with the saucer. Like, it's the cat and the saucer of milk.
Yeah.
And then he shoots the cat to the other little pod deal.
Yeah.
And then the cat's just gone. Saucer's there, saucer's fine. Cat's gone. And instead of like him saying, where the fuck, you just hear this like ghostly cat howl. And it's just like out in space. And then later on, he shows his wife when he's figured out, how to not kill cats, that he could shoot a hamster or a guinea pig one side to the other. And she's like, oh, you did it. That's amazing. He's fine. Have you seen the cat, by the way? And he's like, oh, yes, that was a problem. Adelone was destroyed. So Adelone's not here anymore. Yeah, I forget the exact word he uses, but the best line is that she's like, well, where did he go? And he's like, space. He's gotta wonder how long he was working on it and how long that ghostly cat howl was just echoing throughout his lab before it finally went away. Whatever had happened to Adelone the fucking cat.
That's hilarious.
And just the effects in it, like for the time, obviously they were pretty crazy. But the little hand, the little meat hook he has, and then the way his face looks. But it's just I had more time laughing, and I just really enjoyed watching it. Vincent Price is fucking great.
Yeah.
And I hadn't seen something with Vincent Price so long, I forgot how big a dude was. Vincent
he's
Price was
a big
huge
guy.
freaking guy. He was like 6'4".
Did you watch? Was it like Bat? The Bat with me? We watched one of those Vincent Price movies I have on like my weird.
Which one?
I think it was the Bat. You know what? I don't remember. We'll get back to it.
We'll get back to it. But anyway, Vincent Price in that, he's great and everything. Just that fucking voice, man. Just listen to that guy talk.
Oh my god, yeah.
But the last thing I want to touch on before I wrap up my little part of this is the ending. Because you watch the ending now, and there's so many reasons why it shouldn't work. Mm-hmm. And it shouldn't sort of be disturbing.
Right.
Because you've got, so he turned into a fly man, but then the fly turned into a human fly thing. Mm-hmm. So, they both kind of crossed with each other.
Right.
He winds up dying as the fly man, but then you see what happened to the fucking fly. The fly kept going, like in his human mutation. It was a little fly with a human head. And how are they going to do that with these graphics? With these graphics they have, where it's just like a little meat hook hand and then a cheesy fly pullover helmet thing.
Yeah.
How are they going to put this human head on a fly's body and it's going to look good? The fact is it fucking didn't.
Yeah.
It looked terrible. They put a bunch of shit on his face and he didn't have teeth and he was just like, help me. There's like this little voice, help me, help me.
Wow.
Yeah. And then the spider that comes in at the end. If you hadn't seen this, I'm sorry, but there's some spoilers. The spider comes in. It's just obviously made out of like some cheesy fabric.
Yeah.
Like it could be Velcro and rubber bands, but it's a spider. And like Vincent Price and the cop or the inspector are both looking at him getting eaten, and they're like, "Oh my god, what?" And it's got his little head, and it closes up on his face, and he's like, with no teeth, and he's got like green shit all over his face. Help me! It's not. The spider chews his fucking head off, and then they smash him with a rock. and there's just so much about it that was stupid, but for some reason it still kind of bugged me afterwards. It had some element to it where all those weird, funny, cheesy effects came together. And I was actually kind of disturbed. I don't
Yeah,
know.
no,
You know,
I mean-
it was just like, go back and watch it and just check out that part because it was creepy as fuck. Also, a reference that I never put together until after watching this was The Emperor's New Groove.
Yeah.
They have
they do,
in
yeah.
The Emperor's New Groove, they have a
Yeah.
fly getting eaten by a spider, and the spider's like, the fly's like, help me, and then the spider just goes, and just destroys it, and then the llama, voiced by David Spade, was like, that's the most horrifying thing I've ever seen. And it's just like, yeah, watching it, that was a horrifying thing to watch, and I don't even know how they made it horrifying, but it was. But yeah, I love that movie. Go check it out if you can. It's on Netflix right now.
Yeah.
Nice.
What do you think, Jeff?
I think I don't know. So I did watch two What You Watchins. One of them is a Halloween thing. One of them not a Halloween thing. But it is gory. So let me just start talking. I rewatched Ed Wood. Love that movie. Love that movie. So good. I don't know. Brian's seen it. Tony, you've seen it. I've not seen it. It's great. I have it at home. It's just the height of Johnny Depp, Tim Burton. That's like when they're their best.
Yeah.
And if you've seen, for those of you who don't know, Ed Wood is a biopic, of the director Ed Wood, who was he made Glen or Glenda, Plan 9 from Outer Space, his two biggest. I say biggest, but his most well-known films. Infamous, yeah. And he was actually voted the worst director of all time. But you just love it. It's especially for us as film students. It's like, it's about a guy who has no talent, no talent whatsoever. But he figured out a way to do it.
Right.
He did it. And. Like, the way he gets money to make Plan 9 is by getting money from this Christian organization under false pretexts, and then he says it's a zombie movie, and they're all like, wait a minute, you can't. And Bela Lugosi, Martin Landau plays Bela Lugosi, and he's great, because actually Ed Wood and Bela Lugosi were friends later in life, but it's like, it takes place in the 50s, and, the 30s is 1930 actually. I think on the year is when Dracula came out. So Bela Lugosi had already ran his course as a big actor, and they keep referencing in the movie that Boris Karloff and all these other people are just like a lot bigger than him now. He's just living in the valley and like
sad.
And it's sad, and he's like a morphine addict and
Well, Landau won an Oscar for that too, right?
He did, and then when they recreate, because there's a shot in Bela Lugosi is in Plan 9 from Outer Space. It was the last movie he was in, but he died before the movie even started getting made. Actually, it was like one of the last times Ed Wood saw Bela Lugosi. He took like a little video of him just walking out of his house, and then he used that to cut into Plan 9 from Outer Space, and then he got, what is his dentist? It was his dentist. He told his dentist to like cover his face, and he's like, if you cover your face, you look exactly like Bela Lugosi. So there's one shot of Bela Lugosi like walking out of his house, but the rest of the movie is just this dude with a cape like covering his face and just walking around all menacing. And there's a couple of times where they use the same shot twice. Vampire is also in it, but I don't know. Anyway, Ed Wood, really great if you like Mars Attacks, if you like Beetlejuice, if you're just a fan of B movies in general, watch Ed Wood. I've also been watching a TV series called Borgia. Now, there are two shows that revolve around the Borgia family, which in Renaissance Europe.
Okay.
There's the one with Jeremy Irons called The Borgia, which I have watched. And there's one called Borgia, just Borgia, that came out first. It's a European TV show. I think Canal produced it. And it's great. It's so much better than the Jeremy Irons one. I mean, Jeremy Irons is great, but it's just a really bad American version of this really awesome TV show. That's just, it's bloody, it's gory, there's like, just fucking, it's like, it's like if Game of Thrones were historically accurate. If Game of Thrones were actually following a history.
So are these people just talking about it, or are you actually like, I mean, you said
no, it's their acting, I mean, so it's a drama.
Okay.
So it's not just a documentary.
I thought it was a documentary. Okay.
No, it's a drama. And it when I watched the American one, I was like, this is cool, but I can tell that a lot of this is made up.
Yeah.
They're taking a lot of liberties. Their timelines are kind of weird. But when I watched the one that I'm watching right now, Borgia, I'm like watching it and I'm like, there's names and dates and places, and I'm like, they introduce a character, I wiki him, that's a dude, that dude existed, he did those things, they're doing those things right now on the TV, and cool. It's fucking awesome. And actually, I think I'm almost done with it, because
How many seasons was it?
Well, the first 2 seasons were Canal, and then most recently, Netflix actually put out their 3rd season.
Oh, really?
Which is what I'm watching right now. And the way things are going, the way it ends, and based on my own research outside of the show, like the actual historical events and based on the way things are going, I think the 3rd season is the last season. Pretty sure. There might be some of you that know that already. Because Pope Alexander VI just died. Spoilers! He died in the year 1503. But it's really cool. It's if you guys are fans of anything like Renaissance or just anything historical, if you're like into medieval warfare and anyway, just like it's a really sweet show. A lot of the whoever cast it, just awesome, because there's so many characters that just like look like you look at they look like someone that came from a Renaissance painting. Like they have those weird lines and like their face. I don't know, like they found some ugly fucking people to be in this show, and it's great. And I love it, and I'm almost done with it. So
so not only watching, but about to wrap up.
Mm-hmm.
Porsche. There's a light at the end of the tunnel.
It's a light at the end.
That's beautiful. So that's what we've been watching, folks. Try to keep it gory and spooky here to some degree, and I think that we succeeded.
You see,
Why don't you let us know?
Yeah, you guys suck. We get maybe a little hate mail next time, huh?
Right.
Let's start a fight.
I'd like some hate mail. I'd be like, that's what that's like. Cool.
You guys fought in your hands over there.
Well, on behalf of the By the Bulb guys, happy Halloween. Hopefully you're safe and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But also hopefully, you see you get little slutty outfits from girls, you get the guys, walking around in spandex, little green man here and there. There are the regulars.
Get some green man.
Find a sweet neighborhood haunted house that some enthusiast set up. That's always the dream.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Get a little grabby. Touching is okay.
Yeah.
But once again, if you're going to send more emails, that'd be great. So you can just send them on the regular if you like at bythebulb@gmail.com. Visit us on Facebook. Tell your friends.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be a movie you want us to watch. Maybe something you want us to talk about.
Yeah.
Maybe
an issue you feel we might have
issue.
Did we not expound about something? Did we just skim over something? And there's a lot left to talk about there. But and then you can tell us to fuck off or whatever you want to do. So happy Halloween, everybody. We love you. This is Brian.
Tony.
Yeah, man.
Lights out.
Wait in the house. There's a good boy for you.
Now your colon's open and ready for battle.